They started with 5 MPs, went down to 4. Now Reform have got another MP. The defection of Suella Braverman makes it 8.
We've got the inside scoop on how it all happened. And will the last right-winger in the Conservative Party please turn out the lights?
I detected from her speech. This is also about retribution.
Oh, definitely.
So this whole I was sacked by Rishi
Settling
Sunak.
scores.
And remember, it was because of her referring to immigration invasions and two-tier policing,
Yes.
which is now common parlance.
Yes.
But at the time, it seemed really controversial. And she has not forgiven Sunak and fellow Tories for defenestrating her. She really hasn't got over it. So yes, there's courage, but there's also revenge in this, isn't there? Not another one! Fortune appears to have favoured the Braverman, Tim, as
Clever.
Suella takes the plunge.
Yes.
What is she thinking? We were going to go to the Reform press conference this morning. It was about veterans. Nobody had tipped us off that suddenly the former Home Secretary was going to storm the stage, talking frankly about how much she hates the Conservatives and how much she loves Nigel Farage.
There's a Reform press conference every day of the week.
Yes, I know.
And this is the one occasion which I thought, I've had enough.
I know. Tell everyone where you were.
I went instead to something called Prosper UK, which is the new wet Tory group.
What are you
David
thinking?
Gork, Amber Rudd. So I spent my morning eating ginger nuts with Ruth Davidson.
Wow.
And Andy Street. Remember
bless
him, former
him.
mayor of Birmingham.
Once at the helm of John Lewis.
And my plan was to sketch that. And then I came back to the
Wow.
office and discovered that...
I tell you what.
But of course the cool kids had a cool defector. Why should that
Why
surprise
shouldn't they?
me?
That little cohort of Conservatives there
Yeah.
is Braverman's worst nightmare.
It is. That's the
Shall-
interesting thing.
Shall we hear what she had to say about what Tories are like in secret?
Yeah.
That's the great tragedy with the Conservative Party. Great speeches, good slogans. But when the cameras are off, when the doors are shut, and when they're sat behind that table making the difficult decisions for the country, they fold. When push comes to shove, they go AWOL. No courage, no backbone, no resolve.
Can I just toot my little trumpet? I'm quite good at this defection lark,
You've
except
got another one.
I didn't have the courage of my convictions.
Well, only because Jenrick was so nasty when you...
I know, but I did
Predicted
say,
him.
can we just listen to what I said on my GB News show to Priti Patel on Sunday?
We are not interested in psychodrama or vexatious comments and people with their own agendas. And that doesn't help to put money in people's pockets and solve the big issues.
But we're still on defection watch, aren't we? I mean, others could go. I was hearing over the weekend, Suella Braverman is quite close. She's on the brink.
So Camilla, let me just say this again. My party, under Kemi and her leadership, over the last 12 to 18 months, look at what we have achieved in being focused. We're on the side of the British people. We're not on the side of people that want to participate in political dramas and work out where they're going to get their next political job title for or political egos.
I had a sniff of it. I had a little sniff of it, Tim, but I didn't have enough of it.
Right.
And it's not the most surprising thing to happen, is it? We
No,
knew
it's
she was
not.
agitating towards this for many, many months.
Yes. She and Jenrick are very much a pair. They
Besties.
worked together at the Home Office. They're friends. And, of course, they were at Cambridge together at the same time as me.
What were they like at Cambridge?
They were a couple of years above me, so I didn't know them very well.
Oh, so you were a communist then.
And at that time, they were involved in the Conservative Association, whereas I was involved in revolutionary Marxist politics. So our paths tended not to cross.
Who's been on a bigger journey, you or Jenrick?
Well, now they're into revolutionary libertarian politics, aren't they? But I am asking myself, in all seriousness, was there something about Cambridge University around 2001 that has produced Tories who have defected to Reform? Is there a sort of generational experience? Because another thing connects them and Danny Kruger and a number of other people involved in Reform,
Yes.
which is the National Conservative Conference of 2023. This was an event run by an Israeli philosopher called Yoram Hazony, and it was essentially to give a sort of philosophical justification to Trumpism and Brexit. And if you look at the list of speakers, almost a lot of them have subsequently defected to Reform.
Interesting. Who's next on the list, do we think?
So Danny Kruger spoke at it.
Yes.
Suella Braverman spoke at it. And when I went to, James Orr, the philosopher, was involved.
Oh, yeah, and we saw him last week at that press conference because he's advising Nigel Farage now.
Matt Goodwin, the pollster academic who's, let's say, reform adjacent, was involved.
Yeah.
And there was a meeting after the conference at Danny Kruger's house where they all sat together in a room. And I now feel that even if it wasn't explicitly stated, I was sitting among the Tory to reform group. The one person who I don't recall being involved was Robert Jenrick, but he would have liked it.
Got it. Well, I was at a similar event over Christmas. Did I inadvertently have a hand in this? I was at an event associated with somebody very senior at GB News. It was a Christmas party, Tim, I don't mind telling you. Mr. Braverman, Raoul, approached me and said, Camilla, hi, how are you? We had a little chat, saw Suella. He said, would you introduce me to Zia Youssef? Now, that was interesting because there had been this breakdown between Mr. Braverman and Reform.
Right.
He had joined Reform. He had kind of signalled that the Braverman household wasn't entirely Tory back last Christmas, the Christmas before, by defecting from the Conservatives as a member to Reform. And everyone was like, oh, well, if the husband's done it, what's the wife going to do? It's probably a bit sexist, but OK, fair enough. And then in July last year, there was a massive falling out because Zia Youssef, at the time, do you remember, did a tweet where he blamed Suella Braverman and Robert Jenrick, who were both in the Home Office, for that granting of asylum to the Afghans who were mentioned on the data breach list. Do you remember that? And it was like, you've let in hundreds of Afghans. Why have you done this? And then Mr. Braverman said, hang on a minute, Zia Youssef, my wife wasn't involved in this. In fact, she railed against it at Cabinet. And that's the Jenrick and Braverman argument for why they should be allowed in Reform, because they both argue, don't they? We called this stuff out at the time, so we can't be tainted by 14 years of Tory failure on immigration. We were there like thorns in the sides of a succession of Tory prime ministers complaining about how badly the Home Office was operating. So they'd fallen out in the summer. And then at Christmas, he wanted to see Youssef. So I actually just said, oh, Zia, do you know Mr. Braverman? And they had a little chat and all the rest of it. And now, what is it? A couple of months on, she's jumped ship. And she was very effusive about Nigel Farage. It was a bit of a love-in. Should we listen?
Yes.
Nigel knows about courage. You know about courage. Courage means not flinching under pressure. Courage means facing down your opponent and carrying on with steadfast determination. Courage means overcoming adversity with strength. Courage means keeping your promises to your country. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, it's the honour of my life to join your team today.
There were a couple of things which will be appearing in the sketch. One is Suella said to people that the mark of courage is consistency. She's a defector.
Yes.
It's not the most consistent thing.
No.
And the other thing is telling an audience of veterans about bravery. I think,
Yes.
I think people who've probably thrown themselves on a grenade are braver than someone who's just run for the European Parliament many, many times. Although Nigel has had several brushes with death.
Yes, he has.
It has to be said. He's actually physically very brave. He went up in a plane and crashed. And of course, he's had people attack him too. But whenever politicians talk about, do you know what courage is?
Also, look,
I don't think it really compares.
There is a degree of courage, I suppose, having been a lifelong Conservative member and having been Home Secretary. But the other thing is that I detected from her speech, this is also about retribution.
Oh, definitely.
So this whole, I was sacked by Rishi
Settling
Sunak.
scores.
And remember, it was because of her referring to immigration invasions and two-tier policing,
Yes.
which is now common parlance.
Yes.
But at the time, it seemed really controversial. And she has not forgiven Sunak and fellow Tories for defenestrating her. She really hasn't got over it. So yes, there's courage, but there's also revenge in this, isn't there?
I asked a question at the Prosper UK event, which was branded, by the way, like an insurance company. It's a very unattractive sort of 2010 corporate branding. And I said, they've done a poll showing that millions of people regard themselves as centrist and having no party. Well, hello. Everyone always says, I consider myself a centrist and no one represents me. And if you dig into their politics, you'll find out they're either a neo-fascist or a communist, right?
Yes.
Everyone self-defines as centrist. The point is that the definition of centrism has changed. And that's something that the wets of the Tory party, some of them have kind of recognised it, because when they were pressed on their views on immigration or net zero, it actually sounded kind of mainstream. But a lot of Tory wets still think centrism is Tony Blair.
Yes.
But the public has shifted to the right on issues like energy and immigration.
Yes.
And I think that Braverman and Jenrick get that. They're also a kind of conservative that is not narrowly defined by economic opportunity. If you listen to Prosper UK, they kept saying explicitly, we want to move away from cultural issues and onto the economy, because being a conservative is all about having money in your pocket. Well, the Jenrick Braverman people say, that's good stuff. We like money in our pockets and we believe in individual liberty, but we also believe in the nation state, which we think is under attack.
Yes.
And finally, the big difference between them is conservatives, big C conservatives, typically take a status quo that they've inherited and try and preserve it. So when Cameron enters government in 2010, okay, he does austerity, fine. But when it comes to things like equalities legislation, ECHR, all that stuff, he just preserves the Blairite status quo he inherited.
Heir to Blair.
Whereas what radicalised Braverman and Jenrick was working in the Home Office, because they realised that Blair had put in place things that make it impossible to govern as a conservative. So if you have the ECHR, if you have all this diversity and equalities legislation, you can't do things that conservatives want to do. So the big difference between Reform and the Conservatives is this question of, is Britain broken? The Conservatives, good, soft little patriots they are, will always find themselves saying, no, it's not.
No.
And they don't think it is.
They can't bring themselves to say it.
Therefore, they won't do what needs to be done to fix the country, because they just preserve whatever they've inherited. Reform is the party for people who say the country is so broken that the only way we can have our country look like what it used to be and what we all used to understand Britain was is if we change things.
Yes, it's conservation versus reformation.
Exactly.
The clue is in
reform.
the name, right? The clue is in the name.
It speaks for itself.
And also, I thought Braverman, I mean, it's quite a clever thing to do, to suggest that because I've been on the inside and I know how much these people wriggle out of their responsibilities, that, by the way, when Badenoch says that they'll leave the ECHR, they won't. Let's just have a listen to her rhetoric on that.
Their so-called promise to leave the ECHR. It's a lie. It's a lie. Half of the Conservative MPs are dead against it. Another group don't even understand it. And a mere handful sincerely believe that it's the right thing to do. So I'm calling time. I'm calling time on Tory betrayal. I'm calling time on Tory lies. I'm calling time on a party that keeps making promises with zero intention of keeping them.
And I have to say, I agree.
Do you?
Because listening to Prosper UK...
Well, they don't want to leave the ECHR.
Well, they don't really have a position on it. David Gauke was asked about it and said, I don't, but we don't yet have a position. But my point is, culturally, I knew that morning I was with the real Conservative Party. Even though none of them are in office, the people represented there, David Gauke, Amber Rudd, Andy... None of them have got an office. They either lost them or retired or whatever. But that's what the Conservative Party really is. Suella's right about that. The fact that
Badenoch will hate you saying that.
But
she's almost like the only righty left. I mean, her, Ian Duncan Smith.
Yeah.
You can't even really count David Davis because he does his whole civil liberties thing.
Yes.
I tell you who I'm watching.
Well,
Mark Francois. Should we be on Mark Francois watch? I tell you what, if anyone should have been unveiled at a Veterans for Reform event, it would be him.
A defection always seems impossible until it happens.
Yeah.
And
then we do have the problem, or Badenoch now faces this problem, like the more righties she loses, the less she can push her party into a rightward direction.
And the more it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that the Tory party is a wet party because the only people are left are wets. And eventually people like Mel Stride are going to say to her, well, we're the only people backing you.
Yes.
So why don't you just do what we want to do?
Yeah, they'll make the argument, look, the Liberal Democrats now are really left-wing.
Yes.
So actually, with a really right-wing Reform Party, we can just sit in the centre of this.
Yes.
And some members of the public, by the way, in the blue wall, those 3 million that just couldn't bear to vote, you do have a lot of Conservative supporting Boris Johnson haters. They don't like Jenrick either.
Yes.
You have got this rump. You know,
Yes.
this is the problem for Reform, though.
Yeah.
Whatever the rump that is left of the Conservatives still could, pardon the pun, conservatively poll 15, 16%. Okay? Even if they go back to that lowest of the low, 14, I think. Badenoch says it's 17, but one poll put them at 14. But if Reform cannot get enough support and they need to do a deal with some semblance of conservatism, they're not going to be able to do a deal with a left-wing rump. They might have a chance with a more right-wing rump. So this is so Farage also needs to be careful what he wishes for.
Yeah.
Because if he picks off all of the righties and then you're left with a centrist soup run by Andy Street, they're not in a million years going to entertain a coalition with Reform. And then Reform can't get the majority.
Or if they did, it would come at a very high price.
Yeah.
Which would water down Reform's offer. I mean, the blue wall versus the red wall, it's crude, obviously, to lump people into those two categories. But my feeling is there is an unresolved tension between them that has to be resolved through a general election. They just don't agree. They've not agreed. They've not liked each other since Brexit.
But it was the most awkward caucus ever. That whole caucus of like, oh, you're up in the north and you supported Brexit and you meant to be aligned by Boris Johnson with somebody in leafy Surrey who likes David Gauke.
Yes.
How can this work?
Yes. And of course, there's a similar battle going on within Labour. Polling from YouGov showing that people who are wealthy and well-educated tend to vote left. This is a problem for Labour.
Yes.
Because its whole raison d'etre is we're here to support the poor and those who haven't yet enjoyed the fruits of education. And yet its chief constituency increasingly is graduates.
Yes.
And it's competing with Green for those voters.
Yeah.
And the Greens can speak more to them because they've got that kind of dappy, loony...
Did you see the video, by the way, of Polanski?
Running.
No, singing about taxing the rich.
Oh, did he sing? I've seen him run. I haven't seen him sing.
My children showed it to me and went, what the hell is this? And I went, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. So basically we have the Tories facing a red wall to blue wall dilemma, how to keep both on side. The divide in the Labour Party, which appears to be King of the North versus supine Prime Minister of the South.
If you're enjoying our journalism, why not sign up to From the Editor, our free email newsletter? Start your day with the latest news and opinion, plus our bite-sized puzzles. Scan the QR code to sign up free today.